Hello and welcome again to a special edition of the Collegium here at the Rathaus Schöneberg during the 27th Black International Cinema, May 2012. And we're very pleased to be in contact and speaking with filmmaker and many other professions, Miss Eva Ma. Eva, welcome to the Collegium. Is it Ava or Eva?
Well, some people call me Eve and some people call me Ava. You can call me anything you want, just not a four-letter word.
Mother wouldn't approve.
Mother wouldn't approve.
Tell me, what brings you to our fair city, to Berlin?
Well, I was delighted to have my documentary about Afro-Peruvian music and dance accepted for screening in the festival, and that is why I'm here. And I've had a wonderful time.
Tell the people about your film.
It's a 1-hour documentary. It's called A Zest for Life, Afro-Peruvian Rhythms, a Source of Latin Jazz. And it's about a community that many people outside of Peru don't even realize exists, namely the Afro-Peruvians, which are Peruvians of African descent. There are probably about 2 million people, Afro-Peruvians in Peru. They have their own culture, their own music and dance, just like the indigenous peoples of Peru have their own culture, their own music and dance, but they're also completely Peruvian. And the documentary looks at their music and dance, and through their music and dance looks at their culture and their history. The music and dances and the stories behind them tell the stories of the ancestors, the grandparents, the great-grandparents, the great-great-grandparents, as it were, of the people who are performing them and who are able to still carry on the tradition. And I feel that when they talk about their grandparents, their great-grandparents, their great-great-grandparents, in some measure, it's almost as if they were talking about my grandparents, my great-grandparents, etc., because I believe that all of us tend to lose our connection to our past and to our ancestors and what our ancestors had to go through. And the ancestors of the Afro-Peruvians had to go through great hardships. And I think that this is something that it's important that we not forget, and that it's important that we not overlook.
When you talk about the African Peruvians, how do their experiences differ from people who have come from the continent of Africa to other parts of the world, particularly the Western Hemisphere?
Okay, well, Afro-Peruvians come from the same slave trade that led to the African-American community, the Afro-Colombian community, the Afro-Guatemalan community.
Eva, tell us a little bit about your background. You've have some very interesting careers and professions and things over the years.
Yeah, well, okay. I started off in history, and I have a PhD in Chinese history, and I taught Chinese history for a while, and then I was asked to teach Japanese history as well. So I did a heck of a lot of reading that year to keep one step ahead of the students. And after a while, I thought, I would like to try something else. I have been doing history for a long time, and a friend said, you know, you really should go to law school. So I was teaching and going to law school at the same time. I intended to go into public international law, which is treaty writing and that type of stuff. And 1 week after I passed the bar, there was a family emergency, and I was unable to travel, and so that ended that possibility. So I had a small local practice. I was bored stiff. I did that for 5 or 6 years, and then I ran a cultural nonprofit organization. And when I realized, and I ran that for 6 years, and when I realized that I was having nightmares about missing meetings, I said, administration is not for me. And while running that, I had started a little television program. I also had a radio show, and became more and more interested in television and film, and that's where I am now, and I don't think I'm going to change anymore. I think I have found my true calling. So.
And what are you doing in television? And where have you touched hearts, minds, and souls
Well,
with your work.
I hope I have. I have a series of 6 programs, hour-long programs about world music and dance, including the Afro-Peruvian, Southern Indian, Tahitian, Thai, West African, which means Ghana and Nigeria, Persian, and I guess 7, Mexican.
Ava, thank you for joining us here on the Collegium.
Thank you so much.